Hello, everybody. We're finally together again. We'll wait a few minutes for more people to come in. Let me know who's on. Send me messages. Okay, well, let's start. And by the time we go into the main program, more people will come. Hello, Erica from Australia. So glad to have you with us. So, throughout our session today, whoever has any questions, please go ahead, write them, and between maybe therapies that we're doing or at the end, I'll leave time to answer all the questions. Okay, so referring to our previous theoretical video on the immune system, we had touched on a few points. Basically, the pineal gland and the importance of it on the thymus gland, the importance of sleep for the immune system and the melatonin, the importance of the immune system in general and the immunoglobulins to heal and protect our body, to guard off all infections, and balancing the body. So today, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Whoever wants can go into that video as a theory, because it is the basic. We should know the basics so that we know what we're working and how to balance the body. So let's start. Hello, Lata from Romania. Let me share my screen. Okay. There we go. And here we go. Okay, so I will make a new client as a group. I'll put all the people who were in our last group. One. So we'll call it the COVID webinar. I think there's a technical issue. One moment, because let me see here. Stop sharing. Five of us, you see us all. We want Peter with us too. Peter can't see us. Let me see. Okay, Peter is with us now. Okay, great. So let me turn back my my screen. Okay, so we'll call today's webinar the COVID webinar. Okay. Okay, and let's put in the SOC here in general. Save. Oh, validate, sorry. So today's date, no. It's 11/5/2021. We'll say, we'll leave it blank as both because we have both sexes in our group. Okay, save. Okay, let's go into SOC. I'll assume that we're all drinking enough water and we have medium stress. Okay, I'll leave everything else blank for our purpose today. Okay. So let's calibrate. And until it's finished calibrating, let me see who else is with us today. Okay, I will ask for Peter to send me a list of people so I can put you all in our, as additional people in the group so we can work on all of us today and have a strong immune system. Let me know who you are so we can all get in touch and where you're from. Hello, Petrita. And remember to ask any questions. By the end, I will go back and answer all the questions that you have. Let me share screen again. Okay, and go into testing. But before I go into testing, I will ask Peter to send me a list. Okay. To add more people before testing, because I would like to test with some people in it and not in general, just the COVID webinar. We go into Organi Generator. Here I can write our immune system works perfectly. We are in perfect health and happiness. Okay. 999. I'll have spiritual harmony. Okay, and activate organic field. Okay, for the whole group. Well, we're waiting for more people to come in, so we'll put in additional people here. I will come back here later after testing, and I'll add whoever is in the group here, okay, in the list, so that way we can make the therapy even stronger. And just know I will leave it all night so we can guard and increase our immune system, so we can all be strong, because we're all living very difficult times now. Okay, so let's go and proceed into testing. I'll come back here later. So prepare. And test. So we have 3 minutes. I'll go back to the main panel if you have any questions so I can have a look at them. Okay, more people are coming in. For those who have just come in, remember to give me a note who you are, let me know, and any questions you have, I'll be answering them at the end. So as I said in the beginning, it's a good idea to watch our previous theoretical video so we can have some knowledge on how the immune system works. Hello, Viola. The first thing that we have to do always is assess the client when we go in. So that's what we're waiting for, the testing to come out and assess the client. Many people ask me, okay, we have this, what do we do? We have that and all that. You know, everybody is unique. And the reason behind why their disease is coming up is unique. Again, so that's the amazing thing about our device. We see what is stressing them. And by de-stressing them and by reducing all their stressors, either it is hormonal, pathogens, emotional, past trauma, we see all these things. By reducing them, their body becomes more balanced and they are able to ease their disease. Their body is able to function properly. So since our focus today is the immune system, this is so important. Reducing what is their main causes. Is it that their pineal gland is not working properly, as I said in the theoretical video? Are they not sleeping enough? Or is it a nutritional factor? Is it a hormonal factor? What is it? Is it degeneration in general? Inflammation? Whatever it is, we have to assess it. And that's what I'll be working on today, showing you how we assess things quickly so we can get into the session quickly and start working on them. Because remember, as I said in our previous lessons, and we have to focus and not have our therapy over 2 hours, because it's tiring also for the client, and time is a major factor for your clients to be coming in and being happy. London, hello from London. Ozark, hello. Okay, so our testing is finished. So let's go back. Okay. So we see here initially our Varho panel. Our Varho panel, the volts, our adrenals, is very good. It's in the above normal condition, very good. Amperage, that's our serotonin level, and the function of, also gives us an indication of the function of the intestines and digestive system. It's at 70%. So it's kind of borderline. So we should be working on the digestive. It's our first indication. Resistance seems low. Resistance could be giving us information on their immune system, the resistance, which is a low immune system, their toxicity, or even emotional resistance. Okay, that's also another factor of R. Age is hydration, 76%. It's quite borderline. So our group has to drink more water. So cheers to everybody. Oxygenation at 90%. That is very good. Cellular vitality at 5. Cellular vitality should be 6 and over for it to be normal. So it's a little low. It could be because it's Friday, it's the end of the week. It's 8 o'clock at nighttime, local time here. So, that could be a factor. Resonant frequency pattern at 6,500. That's a good number. It's a good number. Low numbers give us the indication that the nervous system is low. tired, weak. Excessive, as it says, over 15,000 gives us an indication of anxiety, panic attacks, nervous energy, psychic pain. Okay, so our numbers as a group is good overall. Reactant speed is 9, which is also very good. We have a 97% accuracy, which is great. Phase angle, which is the health of our cell, which is, it's ideal. 8 is ideal. Phase response, 1085, that's ideal. Okay, this is how our organs work together as an orchestra. Impedance, 1500, that's again close to ideal. It's a very good number. It's how the energy is going around our body, how all the cells are communicating with each other. Okay, proton electron is also close between each other, so that is good. It shouldn't be far apart. It's a pH. Shouldn't be the far apart, meaning over 11. Okay, it's good that they're close in numbers. Okay, so our main focus from here is that we should work, then we have the indication of the serotonin, that's emotional issue, and digestive from the amperage, and the resistance, which again could be either what I said, emotional, or the immune system. So we have to always keep notes while we're working on somebody. So regular dysfunction in energy management. Interesting. I'll go into that. Explore risk of degeneration, explore risk of oxygenation transfer. Energy management, when I see that, means that we have to work the negative energy around them. Could be a lot of negative energy, so that may be another cause of the resistance being low. We have to explore it. Degeneration, that's self-explanatory. Oxygenation. When you see oxygenation, okay, obviously, okay, good idea to work lungs, yes. There are programs in here, as you know, increase oxygenation, but a good thing to also work is circulation and blood when you see oxygenation, and spleen. Spleen also increases the oxygenation, which is, again, our issue. Spleen, remember, is part of your immune system. So let's take a look a little bit and assess our COVID webinar group today. By assessing, first off, we'll see here also the blue box. What are the high numbers here? High numbers, physical, mental. Look at the high numbers. The highest numbers are these things that you should focus on. Whatever's over 100, obviously, but all of them are over 100, probably because we're taken as a group. But the physical issue and the mental issue, that's cognitive, we definitely have to work on. So let's take a quick look at the matrix. I like using these sub-filters. I go usually into the diuretic. Okay, some pain. Again, you see the bowel intestine. That's the amperage that we were saying in the beginning. Okay, you see, we kind of take a glimpse to assess the high numbers. What's going on here? Again, you see the bacteria, some bacteria coming up. Not too high in numbers, but you do see some reds, some spoiled food. Okay, let's see the biological war. Okay, not so bad. Of course, we always have to consider the 90 numbers too. The 90 numbers are just as important as the 100s. But within our first session, we of course want to work on the acute issues. Then we will start looking at the 90 numbers. Blood, you see the blood sugar. Blood sugar, it reduces the immune system. So we definitely have to work on sugar regulation. We'll see that we have programs on sugar regulation. Bone marrow. Dark field analysis, immediately you see that, we definitely have to work on that. Bone and bone marrow is constitutes a main part of our immune system. Let's see, chromosomes, good. We don't want to see here in chromosomes numbers over 100. Of course, as I said before, the 90 numbers are just as important, but anything over 100 are the acute issues. Again, you see the bone marrow is coming up here. Okay, let's go to diseases. What's coming up here? Lymph. And some STDs, probably some things coming up here. Okay, so we definitely have to work the immune system. Tissue swelling, cardiac muscle, okay, chronic lung disease, etc. Okay, so we'll work a circulation, we'll work the cardiac muscle, definitely. Okay, let's see emotions. Okay, so we get the gist. We start realizing from just what we saw, we definitely have to work on blood. Okay, we definitely have to work on our lymph and to get rid of toxins and bacteria. Okay, from here, we'll go to short sarcodes. Let's load our short sarcodes. Okay, sorry. Always, I'm working quite quickly, so always load in your first number here on your reds and on your purple tray here. So that way your first acute numbers can be worked on throughout your whole session. That's the reason why you load them. Whatever you're loading on the short sarcodes or in your blue box, you're working it throughout your whole session. Okay, so you would load, take a look here at what's going on. You see gingivitis coming up, gums and mouth. So that also has to do with bacteria. A low issue of vitamin C causes gingivitis as well. Okay, so we close here. We'll go to risk panel. Again, to assess. We're still assessing our client. Number one issue, blood. Remember what we said in the beginning, oxygenation. So it's telling us, work the blood. Very important to work also the liver. If we're going to give vitamins to our client, for the vitamins to work good, we have to clear the issues of the digestive, the intestines, the liver. The liver has to be working well for the uricinacia to work even better. Very important. Okay, environmental factors, sugar regulation, like we said before, bone, very important. Hypoadrenia, probably, people are overworking, they're not sleeping enough. Remember what we said in our theoretical lesson about sleeping and melatonin for your immune system and hydration. Very, very important. Okay, so we would treat here until we get a rectification over 85. And I always like to zap close here. Okay. Some other assessing that we can do. We would go to reporting causes and aggravations. Let's see here what's going on. Desire stress, family stress, hereditary issues. We can work on our DNA. Very important. When hereditary issues come up, you definitely want to work your DNA. Over intellectualization means a lot of stress, a lot of things in a person's mind, which is stressing them, maybe not letting them sleep. That's why there's the hypoadrenia and insomnia. So we would have to clear their mind by working their brain. Deficiency of nutrients, we'll have to go into nutrition and see what vitamins they may need. Causes, toxicity. So we have to see where their toxicity is coming from. Maybe that's the issue of the resistance being so low, okay, that we saw in the VARHOPE previously. So we're going to go into the homotoxicology definitely and try to clear them. Okay. Another place that's really good to assess somebody, okay, is the dental. You'd say the dental, why? Okay, first thing, remember in short sarcodes, you saw the gingivitis issues. A lot of our previous mentors always said, you know, the dental panel is one of the most important panels. Okay, a lot of infection comes up here and goes down to the body. Infection starts here. And it's an issue because the infections that are here affect the nerves, affect so many things. It's near to your brain. I mean, this is a really, really important panel. And one of my favorites is going into the Clifford Reports. So you'd first search for foci. You take a quick look and assess what foci here is the highest. You see 159 in sinus issues. Interesting. Jaw is here. Of course, TMJ is at 37. That means there's a chronic issue of the jaw and the TMJ cranium causing. This is that's a lot of stress. It's when they clench their teeth, and it's the imposter disease, as they say. That's a whole session in itself. Okay, you see here arterial circulation, blood, right? So we have to clean up their arteries. Hormonal issues, that's really high. So these are things that once you see them, you immediately know you have to work on them. If you don't have time in this session, you do the main things, but then you have them coming in for those another two or three sessions to get them all done. And each time, because we're taking screenshots, remember I taught you in our first lesson how to take screenshots and remember what you've done and how they're going. You see in the follow-up sessions, these numbers should be lower. Okay, so after going into the foci and assessing them there, we test Clifford Report. Now, in the Clifford Report, we get a lot of information. And one of those I want to see here, I'll show you, is what's the most stressed organ is the limbic system. Interesting. So the limbic system is part of your emotional system, which is being stressed. Remember before things are starting to tie in together. Over intellectualization, so much stress. You see, and the stress is probably affecting the hormones, etc. Oh, okay. Peter's sending me the name, so I'll put you all in the group as soon as I come out of the dental. So let's see, any other information here that we can work on? Okay. What I usually do, so this gives you a story, okay? It's giving us a story that these teeth are affecting this area, the parasympathetic nerves. You see the sinus, the jaw, the hormones, caused by stress, caused by infection, caused by deficiency of nutrients. You see the causes, trauma. A good idea to look into all these causes and work on them. Allergies, traumas, lymphatic congestion. So we'll definitely put on the lymphatic to open up and get rid of the toxins involved with sugar use, stress reduction. Someone in our group is eating too much sugar. Okay, so it's telling us detox the bowel and the liver. It's telling us to give our client herbal therapy. Okay, we have to kill up the pathogens. We'll zap the pathogens and work on also treatments. Okay, giving us information. I'm not going to go into therapy here. We can do therapy from here, therapies, and eductor 1 therapy. Let me show you. It's an AFE therapy, and we would do it until this would go, the rectification, over 100. I'm not going to wait so I can proceed into other things, okay? But that's how I would work here first. Okay. Let me go in now to the origami, and put our names in and get whatever therapy I do in tonight, since I'm going to leave you on. Okay, let me get one moment. I'm going to stop sharing one moment so I can go and get all the names that Peter has sent me. Thank you so much, Peter, for supporting us. Oh. Great. Okay. I've cut them all. Okay, so here I would paste all the names here. And if we have more names coming in later, I will add you on. Okay. Okay, in the beginning, I had already put the origami to be active. Okay, so when I close here, you see the origami is active because we did that in the beginning. Okay, so I'm proceeding now in assessing our client and our group. So we have an idea. We definitely have to go into homotoxicology to see what the toxins are. Okay, the good thing is from homotoxicology, we see that we're in inflammation phase, which is great. Great. The best is to be in simple detoxification phase, the excretion phase, but we definitely do not want to be in these blue phases here. Okay. There are different ways here that we can work, and we can go into homotoxicology in a future lesson. But I want to go quickly because I have a lot of things to show you. Because what was our most stressed organ was our limbic system. I don't know here if there is the limbic system here, but we can work the brain. Okay, so let's go to the brain. Okay, we click on brain. It's giving us hints here. Neurohormonal cell secretion. There's an issue there, and some food poisoning, food addictions, etc. Let's continue and see what's stressing the brain and the toxins. It's going specifically to that area to see what toxins are affecting it. We see too much coffee, too much nicotine. So there's constipation. So these are things that we have to work on. Again, here, hereditary. In the beginning, again, in the causes and aggravations, we saw hereditary. So we'll definitely have to work on the DNA. Ooh, radiation coming up. So I would treat top 5. Going through the homotoxicology, I love going through the homotoxicology, but have in mind, it's a good idea after the 3rd therapy to go into the homotoxicology. Don't go into homotoxicology treating, in the first or 2nd therapy of a person. It's a good idea to have them be accustomed to the energetic therapy that you're doing. Okay, otherwise it may be too heavy on them, the homotoxicology. You can go in to have a look at the items that are being stressed, but don't do therapy on them unless it's the 3rd or after the 3rd therapy. Okay, so now we got a 97%, but there is inflammation or infection being detected. Okay, we can see what's being entangled in this area. Maybe they need vitamin E3. We'll look into that. Okay, so we can close here, close here. We can have a look at all these items and get ideas in assessing. Okay, nerve cranial. Okay, so here we can stimulate detox. Okay, and we could also do allopathic drug detox with certain medication if they are taking, let's say if they're taking blood pressure medication, it's a good idea not to do allopathic drug detox because maybe they will detox their medication and it won't work on them. So you can do this the first stimulate detox on them only. You would usually do an allopathic drug detox if a person has a history of long a chronic use of medication. Okay, and you definitely want to tell them to drink water during their session, and the next few days drink more water than they usually drink so they can stimulate and help the detox process. Okay. So here we're taking care of the resistance. I'd like you to know, because in the beginning, in the yellow panel that came up previously, there are also some issues of psychological issues that come up in the homotoxicology. And I've noticed working homotoxicology and detoxing them reduces past trauma, reduces their stress level in general, not only toxicity stress, but also emotional stress. It's very, very helpful for that area too. Okay, so here it comes out some messages that we can help the client. It's not what goes into the mouth that defines, but what comes out. They should be careful of what they say in general. If it appears too complicated, look at the simple, meaning that, some things are not that complicated. We look at their symptoms. Okay, it's not so complicated. They do have an issue of kidney inflammation. There's a toxic buildup from failure of the detox system, because somewhere I remember we saw constipation too. So we have to help them with their dietary plan to help them make sure that the constipation is not there. Okay. I see a gliosarcoma. When these things come up, it's usually on the point. See if they've ever done an MRI. A gliosarcoma is usually some kind of cyst or something, maybe a small blue brain cyst or something. Something's going on there, maybe in their teeth or somewhere. It's a good idea if they do an MRI, just to make sure if everything is okay. Okay, because it says here that there is some degenerative tissue in the brain. Okay, so we can close. Okay, 94%, that's a good thing. So doing homotoxicology really helps the system, but we have to know how to use it. Remember what I said before, after the third session. It's a good idea at this point, since I've done the homotoxicology, to put on the lymph to help detox, to help the lymph start clearing itself through the body viewer. So I'm loading up the body viewer. Next area of assessing a client, but also since we have the explore risk of oxygenation, and even in the risk panel we saw the blood, we definitely have to work dark field analysis. Somewhere in the matrix, again, we saw acute stressors of the bone marrow. So we definitely need to work that. From here, I would start off with a stem cell stimulation. It's an AFE, it's the AFE panel, so we would do it until it's over 100. I'm just opening it up for you quickly so you can see. I'm not going to do it now, but definitely I would start off with that. I would then do definitely the immune stimulation and blood cleanse. That again is an AFE therapy panel. Okay, I would start and have the rectification over 100 till before I close it. I love this one, the recommended action. I would super conscious scan of blood to see what comes up. It's always so precise. Whatever comes up, it's on the nose. So whatever, we would click this and see it's the H5, this bacteria. So bacteria is coming up, candida, clogged lymph, candida, okay, intestinal flora. So maybe the candida is the cause of the inflammation and the cause of the low resistance. I usually do this at least 3 minutes, and I would start the eductor treat, and I would do it over and over again till the rectification is over 85. So this again is another area of interest, okay, and it gives you more information on what's being caused. So blood treatments here is where I would work the bone marrow. I would definitely want to click here. All the pathogens, click on bone marrow, at least do a 3-minute therapy here. Okay, and I would start right now. I'll do just a 1 minute to help our bone marrow, whoever has the issue in our group. Let's see what other information is coming up here to assess our client better. Hyperplasia system, it's a symptom. Chronic inflammation. Okay, sarco-neurological. There are a lot of things coming up after here we can go in. I mean, you can pick up things on this line. If you copy and paste it somewhere else, you can see the whole line, what comes up. I sewed here, thyroid, thymus issue. So we have to look into this. The thymus is a very main issue for protecting us and guarding us against the COVID. Okay, so while this is working, okay, we can open up our amazing Matrix Explorer, and let's take a look at where COVID is on us. 97, borderline. Remember the 90s, just know that in our software, as soon as the main therapy panel is done, it brings us back so we don't lose time. And I'll go back to the Matrix Explorer and talk about the COVID. Since we're here, so we have a 93%. That's good, so we can continue. Okay, so I've taken taking into account that we've all done the startup. Okay, the startup, as I said in our first lesson that we did, is a basic procedure that we do to relax the client. Supposedly we have done that. Okay, I'm just going in here to see what else is coming up. DNA for the hereditary didn't come up, but since in the yellow, I mean here, up here on the yellow and the purple therapies, the suggested therapies that it definitely wants us to do. It definitely wants us to do the trivector, and it definitely wants us to do meridian. We'll do that, but I also want to go into the DNA. So let's first do the trivector, since it's asking us to do it. And I'll show you what I do in the meridians. So while it's working on the trivector, let's autofocus here. I want to go back into our amazing Matrix Explorer. And here it says the COVID is at 97. So it means that it's borderline. So we do have to protect ourselves. Make sure you take your echinacea and your C. If you have any kind of, symptoms. The first symptoms that you have, you'll take your echinacea and your C. And if you have more symptoms, take it even 3 times a day. You definitely want to take your probiotic. If you have symptoms, you can take it twice a day, the probiotic. You can take your multivitamin that will have an extra zinc, let's say extra vitamin D. These are the basic vitamins that you take so you can have a good immune system. Remember though, the echinacea you don't take over 2 weeks. You take it when you need it because your system tends to get, let's say, accustomed to it. And when you really will need it, it won't work. It's fabulous. When you take it, it immediately boosts your system, but take it when you need it. Always have it in your home, just in case. Okay, so let's look at melatonin. Where's melatonin? Melatonin. 99, 84. It's at 99, the first number. Let's look at pineal. Okay, better. Okay, you can work on your matrix and get so much information from the matrix. Okay, let's see what's going on in the trivector. It's still working here. So since it's still working, I can put the lymph to work. Okay, lymph is degenerative. Okay, that is an indication that we need to open up our lymph. You can tell the client to, let's say, drink some aloe every morning in their water, to put 2 tablespoons of aloe. They can put lemon water, start walking to open up their lymph. Make sure, you're drinking lots of water somewhere. I remember while we were assessing our group that there was also an issue of hydration. So definitely drink your waters. Okay. So here, trauma and distress tissue detected, corrected now. So there's some trauma. Okay. So it's corrected. But it hasn't rectified completely. We'll have to go somewhere else to go more deep into these issues, or of course we can do this over and over again. We can do it over and over again so we can rectify it completely. But for now, I'm going to go into the DNA. Scan for and repair for genes. We need to rectify our DNA because remember, hereditary factors did come up. When you assess your client properly, it gives you so much information on what you should be doing. Okay, there shouldn't be any problem or getting stuck of what you should be doing next. So you see flaw in chromosomes 8, 17, and 12. Rectification 37. So we could do it again and again. Till we have a very good rectification of these chromosomes. You can look into the internet or you can look into the main matrix of what chromosome 8, 17, and 12 are. okay? Because that's what they are, it is correcting, 50%, so we can do it again and again until the rectification is over 85. We see here dysfunction in K3, zinc, and ascorbic acid. So we definitely need zinc, probiotic, zinc, and a vitamin C, okay, for our immune system. Okay, so I do it again and again till the rectification is over 85. And then I would go to DNA correction and stabilization. This is an AFE panel, therapeutic panel. I don't go into the stimulation and stabilization. I go into the correction and stabilization. It's a good idea always to balance the body, not to stimulate it. You would want to stimulate on only certain occasions, and you have to really be knowing what you're doing. The safest is always to correct and stabilize and balancing the whole body, okay? So you would do this till the rectification is over 100, okay? I would stop it now so we don't spend our time. Okay, meridian, let me show you here. Somewhere, I remember in dental, it came up also that we should work in allosodes. Here it doesn't say allosodes. I will work in allosodes though, but before I do that, let me show you here what we can do. Let's say here in meridians, since our focus today is the immune system, okay, let's type in immune, okay, and see what comes up in our meridians. See what areas and what meridians are affected by our immune system. The eductor is so amazing. It's just being creative with your panels. You have to be creative. It's not just pressing buttons. It's not just working protocols. It's going that step further and being creative. Let's see what here we're working on our lymph, okay. We can also put our spleen. I would put our spleen inflamed. I would also put the thymus. Okay, that's normal. Remember the digestive, let's put the liver, because our liver came up in the risk panel. The digestive, let's work the large intestine and the small intestine. Okay, so we can help with the constipation. Okay, many times constipation is an issue of hormones. Okay, so I think somewhere it came up, we saw somewhere the thyroid issue too. So let's put that up here too. Okay, so whatever you're loading and whatever's loaded here, it's a piggyback. It's working on it as a piggyback. Doesn't matter what video is being played. The issue is that here, whatever's written here, whatever's you've loaded, it's piggybacked. And you see here, if you go into the risk profile first, you also see whatever you've loaded there, here too. So you're piggybacking those items. So back to our meridians. We put immune. It tested the immune against all our meridians. Whatever here comes up yellow or green is weak, and the green is the greatly weak. So here is the allergy meridian. You'd want to correct that. You'd want to correct here the ancestral meridian, that's the hereditary. So maybe there is an issue with the DNA and the immune system, a low immune system carried on from past generations. The stomach meridian and the fibrous meridian. Okay, it's corrected. Let's go to this one. So we'd correct anything that's yellow and green. The fuchsia, it says here, those are greatly improved. It says red here, but it's actually fuchsia. So the reds and the whites are the greatly improved ones. So if you're working on other issues of the person, you can put anything in this white tray to see what area and what meridian has been affected from that issue. You can even put an emotion here. Let's put pathogens, since pathogens were coming up where maybe they have affected some meridian. You can do this as many times as you want. And that way you're focused. Okay, so I could close the Explorer matrix, and I could, at the same time, since this is working, I could open up the third eye stimulation, which is really, really important, again, for our immune system, because the third eye stimulation works the pineal gland. Okay, so let's do an unconscious frequency search. Ascension, awakening. So these things will help with the intellectualization and the cognitive issues and the limbic, let's say, that the our group is having. It'll open up our minds. Spirituality entrance, interesting. Let's do also calming and relaxation so we can sleep better. Doorway to all vibrations, love that. They're all really good. Okay, but you'd want to have focus. You don't want to choose everything. Unlimited health. Okay, let me finish with a third eye. Load that, and I'll go back to the main meridians. Unlimited health, and I think it's a healing door to all diseases. I would check for long-term therapy and start. So there you are. That'll be working there. Going back to our meridian program. So the pathogens, where have they affected our meridians? The lymph, interesting. Okay, remember our lymph was inflamed and degenerative. The toxicity, the resistance. We have a lot of hints, and they're coming up, and they're assuring us that we're doing the correct moves. Correct the allergy. So I think we'll go into the allergies because it came up a second time here. Obviously, the immune, if a person has allergies, the immune system is low because the immunoglobulins that we had discussed the previous time in our previous theoretical video are affected with the allergies. The immunoglobulin, those are the immunoglobulin E's. Okay, that's when our those antibodies are overactive. Okay, we're going to go into the immunoglobulins here too, then check how we are there and how we can work on them. There's so many things that we can work on. That's why there's never enough time in one therapy. You can't do everything in just one therapy. That's why you want to assess the client, see what their top issues are, and have them come in the second time and see the second time what their top issues are. Because many times when you solve the top issues, then everything else also gets solved underneath. Okay, they're miraculously solved. So more doesn't mean better. You don't have to be so many hours on a client. Okay, so here on the piggybacks, we have our pineal gland, our third eye stimulation running. We have our body viewer that we've loaded so many items here. Okay, so we've worked on the pathogens and we've worked on immune system. We can start the meridian therapy and see in general what's going on in our entire system, not only for the immune. Okay. We can also load more items here from our piggybacks. Okay, we can have our degeneration scan, disease dictionary, which is really, really good, the iridology, the quantum prayer. But because I have the video running and the webinar all on the same laptop, I'm not going to open it because it'll slow up our therapy, and it may have a lockup because the video is taking a lot of my RAM. So please understand. But in your private sessions, you can load everything up. If your laptop can hold everything, you can open up all of them, no problem. But usually I don't overdo it. I usually open up to 3 items. And if I've had it running a long time, maybe I can close it and work something else. I usually don't open them all, so I don't overload the client. Okay, just as a tidbit for you to know. So here in the meridians, it says here electrically the client is too yin. What does that mean? It means it's more emotional issues. Yellows are the emotional issues. The reds are the yang. If the red is coming up, is toxicity. So the meridians are affected a lot here in our group through emotional issues. That's another reason why, let's do a retest all so it can correct it. That's another reason why we have to work the brain. Remember, it was coming up, that over-intellectualization and the limbic system. So we definitely need to reduce the stress and reduce and clear the mind. Okay, I'll show you how we do it. Quickly and nicely. There's so many programs, of course, that, in the future, we're going to go through so many panels in all our videos that we'll be working. Okay. So after this, once we finish this, I'll show you what we'll do to finish up in the universal panel, and we'll go to the allersodes. Many times when it comes up here in the purple or the yellow suggested treatments that we do, many times it comes up auto-meridian and allersode therapy suggested. I would then go first into the allersodes and then proceed here into the meridians. In some future video, I'll show you how I do that too. Now I'm doing it the other way around. There's so many ways you can work these panels. And it doesn't mean that something is, we did it wrong. It doesn't mean that. It just means, there's different ways in working. I never work the same person the same way. You know, there's always different things coming up, so I'll work them a different way. But as I said in our first lesson that we had, we do have our startup. So if you want, you can go view that. Our startup has to do here again. Let me show you really quick. I won't do it. See, it's starting to get slowed down because I have things running, and it's also our webinar. Okay, for our purpose now, I'm going to close the third eye. I wouldn't do that normally, but it's because of our webinar and the camera taking up too much of my memory. Okay, so the automatic nervous system. I would start with the vagus, the sympathetic, the parasympathetic, and vagus again, making sure that each time I go through that round, the rectification is over 85. I usually want them at 100. Okay, by doing this, I do this. This is the first thing I go into when I start a client after the risks panel and assessing the client, because this makes them immediately relaxed. Okay. I will also do the alpha, treat stress, and the normal here, and I would start. And we want the normal to come up the highest number. You usually need to do this around 5 times. Sometimes, even with the first, it'll come up. If it's a new client, you may need 5 or 6 times to go through it. But an older client that's been accustomed to these frequencies, they rectify quicker, I've noticed. Okay, so this will also help clear that the foggy brain issues and the over-intellectualization. Okay, that's one thing that you would want to do. Okay, and of course, by finishing the universal therapies, you always want to do the autoscaler. Have all the rectifications over 85. Okay, you would treat all, see the rectifications, then go one by one, making sure that they're over 85. Okay, so the next hint in our assessing, it was the allersodes from the dental that we saw and from meridians that we were working on for our immune. Okay, so let's go to allersode, hyperreactance, see what's going on there, because when the allersodes are overacting, and our allergies, it's the immunoglobulins and our immune system is overacting. We see what the highest numbers here to give some kind of indication to our client what they should be careful of in their environment. So the sulfides and food additives, they should be careful what they're eating. Not too many preservatives, not too many bought things. Tell them they should focus more on vegetables, fruits, natural products, not already made. Also, those additives that they put in foods that enhance the taste, those they have to be careful, because those are also food additives. Many people use it everywhere, and it really affects their immune system. There's also an issue of dairy sensitivity and some kind of the opsin 2 inhalant hyperreactants. Those are air fresheners and aroma that may be used in the car, let's say in the homes. So you should be careful with that. So let's load here the top issues just by double clicking them. These are allersodes that may be affecting them. Let's go to the phenols as well. What phenols? Oh, the good thing is that we don't have acute items in the phenols. They're in the 90s, but still remember the 90s are also things that we have to take into consideration. Look at them, you see what items are coming up. Okay, so we've loaded here in the reactant info box, open hyperreactant chart, and do a desensitization. That will really help them, desensitizing them so that it helps them in their environment. Somewhere it came up environmental issues. This could be one of them, the allergens and allergens in environment. Environmental issues are also, let's see, family, friends, work. Okay. I think somewhere in the aggravations it had family stress. Okay. So by working the brain, that will work on, that'll also help them with their environmental stress. Okay, so we're working here on desensitizing them. We want the rectification here over 85. I'm going through everything quickly because I want to be finished earlier so I can go into your questions and answer your questions. Okay, afterwards. So please go ahead, as we're talking here, write your questions in the chat. I'll get to them. We'll get into the questions at about in about a half an hour at 9:45. Okay, so we'll have about 10 to 15 minutes in responding to the questions. Okay, so good. We have a rectification of 89, so we can exit and we go into hyperreactant therapy. This takes us to the Meridian panel. Okay, you load allergen report items. These are the items that you loaded into the report in the chart. So it helps you here also to desensitize the patient. Enter body areas affected. Okay, so remember our assessment. First of all, the immune, okay? Blood, limbic system, brain, hormones, okay? Allergic symptoms. I don't know what we have as symptoms as a group, but let's put the immune, low immune system, immune, okay? Release mental fixation, relieve inflammation, is coming up histamine cascade, okay? So there's something going on there. And I checked them all. I would normally put 3 or 5 minutes here, depending on how serious the allergies are, okay? But for now, I'll put 1 minute, okay? And start desensitization. So it's like a more in-depth desensitization therapy, not only with a chart. Okay. So it's working here. Okay, here it says before treating, correct adrenals, liver, and make sure that they're taking vitamin C, pantothenic acid, and taking care of their water deficiency. So, hydration is very important. So, we did load liver in the body viewer as a piggyback. We can load it, the adrenals as well. Okay. Because remember, in the risk panel, it did come up hypoadrenia, adrenals. Okay, it's from chronic fatigue. And that does definitely take a toll on our immune system and allergic effects, etc. We can also work on the adrenals from the nutritional panel. We'll go into that. I hope we'll have time today, or maybe in a future lesson. We'll see. We'll see. There are different places you can work on the adrenals, the liver, let's say. You can work it from biofeedback systemic. You can work through the spinal timed treatments, or you can even work on it through the organs through the short circuits. It all depends on your time you have available. That's why it's so important, for a client to know that they should, come at least 3 or 4 times. That, it's just not one therapy and you have to do everything in one therapy. Because you need time to work on everything and to get better results. And that's why, even though from the first session, someone may have really good results and they do feel better, but the magic of the 3rd therapy or the 4th therapy is amazing. And people always say the 3rd or 4th therapy that's when they really know that they're really feeling good and they feel the difference. So I want to mention here that even though we have put 1 minute, the eductor has a mind of its own. And if it feels it needs to be more time on a client, it will be more. It may even take 3 minutes. It all depends on what the eductor feels, but it has its own mind because it's that cybernetic field that it has, and it knows how much the client really needs to get a good rectification. But you see here, even though it took more than a minute, it's still only rectified to 43%. So we do need to work on this more. That's why I said at least 3 to 5 minutes we should put here. Okay, I'm not going to stay here, but just know this when you're working on your client. Okay, so we finished from the universal and the allosodes. Another very important place where you can assess your client here is the aging. Let's go into the aging. Anti-aging RX. Okay, this is a really important panel. Now, the reason why these are minus is because we put today's date in the date of birth. Okay, so we kind of mixed it up. Okay, so that's okay. Whatever's over 100 are our issues for aging, and degeneration in general. Okay, here we see melatonin 106. So there's an issue with the melatonin. And remember what I said in the video the last time. Melatonin is a very important part of activating your thymus gland. So you can double click here and work on your melatonin, or you can tell them, it's a good idea to take some melatonin every night for a little while, just to increase the immune system and have a better sleep. The fatty acid. So we do definitely need omega-3s. You can click here to have a rectification here so that the body absorbs the omega-3s better. But you can also tell them to take some, okay? There's some perverse energy and premature aging from sun or perverse energy, and emotional tension. These are the main issues of degeneration, but they have to do also with the immune system. Very basic. And just for information, quantic decay, what does this mean? You want this number to be as low as possible, okay? It means that the higher the number, the more decay there is on a cellular level and a quantic level. Okay, so 92 is okay. We want it lower though. Okay, definitely you don't want a person here over 100. Definitely. Okay, so this is another very good panel that we can assess our client. Let's go here into the sports panel, the muscular re-education for athletes. Here's IgA, IgM, IgF, IgG. Okay, these are the immunoglobulins. Here, the IgF is coming up. The IgF is another it's the immunoglobulin that's stressed, but we definitely, the IgA is something that we definitely want to work on. Okay, so we click here, this one. We could click also the whatever comes up in red, but the IgA is something that we want to work because it's the memory, it's the immune system. IgM also is important. These are the ones that are coming, and the IgG is actually the remembering immunoglobulin, sorry. The IgA is for the lungs and the sinuses, and the IgM, as I had said in the video, is when we first get infected. So anyhow, it's a good idea to work on them this time, especially if you have a person with a low immune system, especially older people with a lower immune system. Okay. Dopamine is also a good idea to work on. The growth hormone. Okay. Remember the balanced fatty acids. So we can put 1 minute here, we can put 3 minutes and a start, stabilize hormones, and start, and until we get a rectification of over 85. Okay. The time therapies here in the spinal, what I said before, here you can work here on your adrenals, your kidneys, your liver. Definitely you would want to work on the lymph, because remember, we did the homotoxicology and the lymph was degenerative from the body viewer. So you can work on that. Sluggish liver, definitely the digestive system to increase your amperage. Okay. And of course, the immune system. Don't forget the thymus gland. The thymus gland, the pineal gland. Okay, all these are very important. You can do like 1 minute therapies on them, okay, to increase their immune system from here. Another very important thing. Okay, auto zap. It came up coronavirus. Even though it was at 97, it appears that somebody here is maybe came into contact with a person with coronavirus. Let's zap it. Okay. Now, when we're zapping, auto zapping, we definitely want the zap rectification over 85. Okay. You may need to do it 3 or 4 times till your zap rectification is over 85. If your rectification comes out within over 85 with the first zap, it means that it wasn't such a big issue. Okay. But if you need to do it 3 or 4 times, there's an issue there. Okay. You also see the time remaining here. You see the percentage, how it's going on. Okay. Great. So far I've gone through the issues with the oxygenation transfer dysfunction, One by one, we're working on everything. Here, we worked here through the dark field, okay, the blood. Degeneration, we went through what's causing the degeneration through the aging, but we can also work on the degeneration issues as well through the super learning timed therapy. There's degeneration panels there that we can work. Now, energy management. Energy management. I have to do a lesson just on that. It's an amazing lesson. The energy management. When it comes to energy management or energy management dysfunction, there's certain things that we definitely have to do to clear the energy, including karma and negative energies around us. Okay, because all those type of things do lower your immune system. Okay, so we had a rectification for the ZAP of 63%, as you see here. So we do it again and again till it's over 85. Looking again at the auto ZAP, okay, you see some AIDS coming up. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone in our group has AIDS, but it means that there's a low immune system. That's what it means. Okay. Allosodes we worked on. Cellulite. Cellulite usually is an issue of hormonal and also liver issues. So that's causing the cellulite, a lot of toxicity. So we worked on homotoxicology. We've loaded up the liver on the body viewer. You can work it here too, and you can also work the liver in different places in the systemic, in the organs, relaxation, the systemic relaxation in the under the organ drop down, or in the under the spinal timed therapy. The enzymes and nutrients, we can work it here or through nutrition. Let's look further down. Okay, fungus is coming up in the auto zap. Somewhere we had seen it was in the dark field analysis in the recommended action. Remember, Candida came up. So here it is. Lyme's is for the Lyme's coming up probably for the hypoadrenia. You can work so many things. It's giving you indications. Rixetta. Now, you know, it's a good idea when you see Rixetta to work it, because Rixetta is a bacteria that hits the heart. You don't want that. Okay. So we worked on the auto zaps as well. Let's go into the nutrition panel that we'd also work on. A quick look. Let's see what vitamins they may be needing. Not too many. Not too many. Okay. More chronic, they do need their probiotic. We do need their probiotic because it's at 69. It's kind of like a borderline chronic. I like to give probiotics because probiotics also, it'll help with the constipation. Okay, that it did come up. It helps on the immune stimulation and the whole bowel flora issues. Okay, bacteria, candida, vitamin E. You can get a vitamin E through aloe too, that I said in the beginning, that opens up your lymph. So that's a good idea. Basically that. Now, we see here issues of digestion and carbohydrate digestion and protein digestion. Wherever you see these issues, you would want to go in here and work on them. Okay? From stress and cortisol, you can work the adrenal issues. Okay. And after working on these items, you can come here and stabilize the hormonal enzymes. And this is an AFE therapy panel that you can work on. that help stabilize hormonal issues. This is a very strong program, very good program to work on. Especially people with women with hormonal issues, it immediately stabilizes them. Very good. Okay, so from our basic assessment, these are the panels that we can go in. Okay, of course, you can also work from the matrix. These are other ways that we can work that I'll go into other in our future lessons. I'll show you how we can work working with the matrix. Something else that I'd like to show you is the coronavirus immunization panel. This is a new panel that has everything here. Okay, there's different ways that you can work this. You can either check everything for 1 minute, see what comes up. I'm not going to do it now. I'm just showing you though, because I'll get stuck in in how many minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 minutes, I'll be stuck in the program. So you can check everything for 1 minute and see what rectifications come up, okay? And then start working on those items that have lower than 85 rectifications, and do those again and again until you have everything over 85. Or you can do an unconscious search, and your unconscious will tell you what you need. Nothing is wrong. Everything is okay. Basically, it needs us to do a fractal harmonization on our entire body. So it looks like maybe perhaps going into whatever we've done, we've touched on everything just a little bit, and maybe that little helped us. So we only need this. Okay, so we could do the treat until it's over 85. We have auto zaps here for virus, parasites, and pathogens. And on everything, we see an overall rectification here too. Okay, this is a really, really good program. And automatic, which is easy to boost has everything here that will boost our immune system. Okay, now say if a person has done their vaccination, what I usually do, not if they've done it, if they're going to do it. People who do their vaccination, I like to do them the day before their vaccination and the day of their vaccination. That's 2 days of therapy for them. So if they're doing a 2-dose therapy, 2-dose vaccination, you would do them 4 times, okay? And if they want more sessions, of course. But this way, if you do it the day before their first vaccination, you get that glimpse of how they are before their vaccination and if they're okay to do their vaccination. Okay, that's very, very important. For instance, if thrombosis comes up, okay, if thrombosis comes up, here it's coming up low, but I've had people having, before they did their vaccination, thrombosis, one of their first numbers, red too, and heart issues. And I told them, please delay. Let us do 2 or 3 therapies, and then I will let you know when those numbers are better, then go for your vaccination, okay? You want to protect, it's one reason why you want them to come in before their vaccination, to protect them. Make sure that they're ready for it, and so they don't have any, side effects. Then you do them the day of their vaccination, again, to reduce their side effects and whatever, and increase their immune system. Whatever comes up, you always assess them. So if these things come up, you will work on their circulation. You will work on de-stressing them, okay? each time. You definitely, when you do your vaccination, you definitely need to drink at least 1.5 to 2 liters of water. Okay, and that's actually the normal, but a lot of people don't drink. So especially if you're doing your vaccination, you need to drink water. I always give them, some extra vitamins like Q10, anything with pine bark, pycnogenol, helps clean their arteries and help the circulation, okay, for thrombosis issues. Have them drink their lemon water. Make sure when you go for your vaccination to go there eaten, have a full stomach, and in general, take that day off and the next day off. Another thing that I want to work here, because I just remembered that over-intellectualization was coming up. So the way we would work on over-intellectualization and cognitive issue quickly is we go to timed cybernetic feedback super learning therapies. Okay. We go to enhanced learning, click on all this math, memory, language, analytical skills, motivation, comprehension, emotional communication, and do a start super learning. For people with issues like having here the intellectualization issues and cognitive issues, I would put 3 minutes here. Okay, but for now, I'll only put 1, so I show you what I do further on. Let's see how our lymph is here. We can go back and press lymph again. Is it? You see, it's already healthy. Okay, if it was an issue, it may have come up still lymph inflamed, let's say, but it came up lymph healthy. That is great. So whatever we've done, maybe you're drinking your waters now, or maybe, somehow our group has been helped. So that's a good indication. That's a very good indication. Whatever we've done here, because we worked, remember our the blood, which is very important, the bone marrow, which is very, very important in cleaning up in the immune system. Okay, so here is what I wanted to show you. The rectification is 74%. I would do it again and again till the rectification is at least 85. Then I would do the super learning, Eductor 1 super learning, which is an AFE therapy panel. And we would do it till the rectification is at least to 100 before we close. Now I want to show you something here. The Varho percentage panel here, percentage number here. These numbers increase, okay, when you do a lot of AFE therapies. You see, it's now increasing. You will notice on the AFEs, sometimes it'll take a long time before it goes up to 100, which is a good indication in general of how they are. And sometimes you pick just the correct AFE program that takes them directed to 100. Just notice it when you're working on them. Your goal is to have the Varho percentage here over 100, okay, and start making them feel better. Okay, since our number one issue was over-intellectualization, I'm going to wait here till our rectification is at least 100 to help us have a clear mind so we can go to sleep with a clear mind and help our sleeping so we don't think too much and we have a good night's sleep, because that will increase our immune system if we have a good night's sleep. So you see it's going up slowly. Both the rectification is going up slowly, and so is the VAR hope. So it is an issue. 100, okay. Now, going further to work on the brain, I would close this, go to timed treatments, and work on stimulate intellect. That increases our IQ. It's fantastic. But I would normally leave it at 3 minutes, okay? Put it on max, and then stimulate intellect. This is very, very important, working the brain for so many things. It's not only for our immune system, and it's for everything. And having a clear mind, helping our everyday life and reducing stress. Working the intellect. I have even gotten a person that was paralyzed for 10 years to stand up and start taking small baby steps, which was amazing. After a few sessions of working her brain and her intellect, because working these three, it works the entire brain. It's so important for everything, not only for the immune system, for everything. Because by working the entire brain, all the neurons, they're waking up, and they're sending frequency to all the organs to do their functions. So important. So the rectification is at 70. We want our rectification at least 85. So we'll do it again and again. So another interesting thing coming up in bold is feel-good therapy. Remember the serotonin, the amperage that was low. So we definitely want to increase our feel-good hormones, serotonin, dopamine, growth hormone, the endorphins. All these make us happy. Oxytocin. All these things make us happy. They're the feel-good therapy. Very important for our immune system and the thymus gland. So, as soon as this is finished, I want to make sure that I've gone over everything. Okay, this is again at 72%. So, I would do it again and again until we have a rectification of over 85. From here, we can work our degeneration that I said previously. You can work it through from here, and even through here. These are AFE panels, therapy panels that you can work on them. Okay. Blood sugar disorders. Somewhere in the risk panel, I think we had seen, and in the main matrix, we had seen blood sugar disorders, which also reduces our immune system. So we can work blood sugar through here. Very good therapies. Okay. So I think I went through many panels here. I've gone through a lot of information for you. Peter's going to upload these in the YouTube panels, these videos, so you can go over this video again, because I know I went through everything really, really quickly. So let me go back into our main chat room here and see if I have any questions for you. You have any questions for me? No. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, you can private message me on Messenger. I'll be happy to help anybody. You can watch the video again. I'm sorry I went quickly. I wanted to give you as much information as possible. We're here for you, and I look forward to seeing you in our next class. Okay? Lots of kisses. Love you all. I'll have you running all night so we all have a good immune system and we're strong. If you need anything, contact me. Kisses to everybody.